In my last video, I said that my first electronics project on this channel would be shocking. Here we go. Oh, that's shocking enough for you? So let's take a step back, because obviously the circuit's already been built and tested and it works pretty well. That's because I actually built this while I was still in college. And needless to say, the university didn't really appreciate my creation. They said it was terrifying, cruel, dangerous. Oh well, I put it into storage and spitefully. But now it's out of the woodwork, and we're going to use it for something very fun. So this should go without saying, but what I've done here is pretty dangerous. So don't go and try this yourself without knowing anything about electricity. That's not a good idea. Frankly, I'm surprised that you could even get such dangerous high voltage stuff off of Amazon so easily and for so cheap. But yeah, don't go playing around willy-nilly, and if you do, understand what you're doing and be careful. Be very careful. Oh, that? You're wondering what this is? Well, this is my computer cluster. You should take a look at the video. I did a video on this, that's right. Hey, Thomas from the future here. I'm about to talk some science at you, so if that's not quite your speed, go ahead and skip to right here in the video so you can see my lovely creation in action. Go do it. But if you like science and want to know why I'm making that face, I think you should just go ahead and watch this. It's fun, it'll be fun, I promise. Because I want to talk to you about how this circuit actually works. So I'll go over some of the scientific and electrical concepts that go into it, without actually showing you how to build it yourself. Sorry, I don't want that kind of liability weight on my shoulders. First, you take the low voltage power from the battery pack, which moves in one direction, and you make that oscillate. So what that means is instead of moving in one direction, you make the electricity go back and forth really, really fast. And this is done with a pair of high power electronic switches. So they're called MOSFETs in real life, but they're basically just really high power electronic switches. So when one switch turns on, it activates the second switch, which then deactivates the first switch, which then deactivates the second switch, which then allows power to go to the first switch. You understand, you get it. Just boom, back switching, back going really fast. It does this very, very fast. Then you take that oscillating signal and you put it through a transformer. And electronics, what that is you can take one oscillating voltage and you can step it up to a higher voltage. And then, or down, but we're doing up in this case. And when you do that, because law of conservation of energy, physics, when you do that, when you raise the voltage, you have to lower the current. Let's talk about voltage versus current real quick. So take water flowing through a pipe, right? Voltage is kind of like the pressure of that water, but then the current is kind of like how much water is actually flowing. So when I say high voltage, think about like a pressure washer, you high pressure water, a pressure washer, right? So the water actually going through that pressure washer, it's a lot of high pressure water, but there's not actually so much of it coming out. Now think of like a dam spillway, right? You got a whole bunch of water just through a dam spillway, tons and tons of water. That's got the pressure and it's got the flow. It's high pressure and high flow. So this is like in real life electronics, maybe like your power lines, right? There's a lot of power there. And it's really high pressure, really dangerous. It can power a whole city, right? So there's your example for that. But then something that's low pressure and then low flow is like a battery. So that's kind of the interaction there. And with electricity, you can't create more power out of nothing. And actually with everything, that's law of conservation. But anyways, what I do with this transformer is I take that oscillating sort of lowish voltage signal. Keep in mind there's a lot of current. It's pretty much using up all of the battery's power to actually do that. But then I take it, transform it, so now it's really, really high pressure, but the flow is lower. So really, really high voltage, low current. Now what do? Well, after that stage, you have to rectify it. And if you're a fan of Electro Boom, then you probably know something about this already.
Make a full bridge rectifier. That's right, it's not a dumb single diode rectifier, it's a full bridge.
But basically, rectifying it means that I take the oscillating signal and I make it direct current again. But instead, this time, now it's about 1,000 volts direct current. And now is my fun little visualization part. So think about that pressure washer again, right? The high voltage but low flow of electricity. I'm shooting a pressure washer into a water tower, right? The big like water storage tanks. Right? I'm just filling it full of water. But then what I can do is I can take that entire water tank and then just slice out the bottom. All of that water flows all at once. Lots of power in that, right? And then I use that instantaneous huge surge of power to drive yet another transformer. Although this time it's called a pulse transformer. And it does exactly what the name implies. It takes that big pulse of electrical power and it steps up the voltage again, but drops the current. So my circuit will produce something between like 10 and 20 kilovolts. It's pretty hard to measure that for a number of factors that we just don't have time to get into. It's also not perfectly efficient. So a lot of this energy is lost in the form of heat. So the MOSFETs, when they're running, produce a lot of heat. The act of like switching current on and off really fast is very labor intensive. So the MOSFETs will actually get very hot. So I'll need to design a system to dissipate a lot of that heat. And I have just the idea. But anyways, explanation over. Let's go shove it into a box. So I got this project box here off of Amazon, and I would have 3D modeled and then printed something that would have fit this circuit a little bit better, but the plan is to take this on a trip that I have coming up soon, and ultimately, this is a fun box, and isn't the whole point to share the fun with friends? I mean, yeah. So in this box, I somehow need to fit two 4 AA battery pack holder things, the circuit itself, also a fan to help with cooling, a couple switches for controlling it, and finally my thermal solution, which is just old I/O shields. I'm gonna have to make it work somehow. So now let's go ahead and get this box of junk assembled. Man, I snapped my fingers and the box is already done. Man, don't you hate it when that happens? Shoot. Sorry, guys. Alright, I feel bad, so I've opened the box up so you can take a look at what's inside. Here, come here, take a look. Let's work through this. So I got the batteries on this side. There's 8 of them, 1.5 volt AA to get 12 volts basically, so they're all wired in series. They take up a bit of space, so I put them on this side of the box. But basically, they're connected to the circuit and the fan in parallel. So you'll notice I can flip the switch to actually turn the circuit on. The board gets power, which I'm not sure if you can see, there's a little red indicator light down there, as well as the fan to get some cooling started. And speaking of cooling, I'm going to turn this off. This is unnerving with the screws so close to my hand on this side. Oh boy. But yeah, moving on to these guys. These are the MOSFETs. So those are the electronic switches that I was talking about when I went over how this circuit functions. They get hot. So I took some like motherboard or PC case I/O shields and mangled them all together, cut them up. They're not very good heat sinks, but they're enough. They'll work just fine. And it's nice because the fan is blowing straight across them, so I love it. But also from that little guide, I can really now start to point out some of the major components. So this is the first transformer, so that's taking the little AC voltage, big AC voltage. And then that goes into the water tank, which is right here. This is a capacitor that's rated for 2,000 volts, and it stores a lot of juice. And then when that juice is all stored up, there's a little device there called a spark gap, which will arc at 1200 volts. And when it does that, it completes the circuit, sends the power through this little guy, which is the pulse transformer. Pulse transformer goes into these two wires, which are connected to the fun terminals. They're not the shock terminals, they're the fun terminals. They're the terminals for fun. And that's all you need to see here. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing else to let's just patch this back up. I'm Yeah, now that it's done, I don't want to touch that. It's terrifying. While we're at it, we should probably add some labels to this thing. I'm thinking black Sharpie. You know, a good engineer always labels their devices to make sure that people can follow along, even without an instruction booklet. So let's get right to it. I'm thinking and there you have it. So we have the lame mode. We don't want the lame mode. We want to turn it to fun time. So now it's on fun time, and oh, press for enjoyment will do. And then the enjoyment comes out of these fun screws. See, just like that. So now that it's done, I suppose it's time for me to try it out on myself to see how much fun it really is. Alright, so I've never actually tested it on myself, although I have been I've accidentally touched high voltage capacitors in the past and been fine. Just really, really, really shocking. Like literally and just emotionally shocking. Oh, alright, big stretch. And the more I sit here and think about it, the worse it's gonna be. So I have to just get it over with. But that's such a hard thing to do. I swear to God, if this doesn't please the YouTube algorithm, I don't know what will. I don't know how much I can take. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no. Alright, so the verdict is that it's bad. It hurts a lot. But the moment you take it off, it's fine. It's totally fine. And at the end of the day, I was smiling and laughing, so I think it's satisfied its objective. It's given me a fun time. And now I can say with absolutely zero confidence that it's also going to give my friends a fun time. So let's go take it over to them and see what they say. Thank you. Hey Nick, how's your present?
Impressive. So I just changed.
Oh.
Transit.
I have a device. I want you to test my device.
Fun screws, fun times. I swear to God, if I touch those fun screws, I'm gonna die.
I don't know about
Either that or you-
My device.
Stop saying my device.
My device is wonderful. It's.
Normally people just call it not a device.
Oh, you can't put that on.
Lame. Oh, it's in lame mode is the thing. You want to put it in fun.
I'm scared.
Ah.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
It's electric.
I like rainbow.
So you can touch it
You can touch it.
at your own risk.
What?
You can touch it at your own risk. I assume no liability.
So it's like a DIY taser, or what is happening?
It's not a taser.
Thomas, what, you touch the fun screws?
Yeah, touch it for
I
us.
have.
Okay, do it.
And I filmed that. I filmed it then too.
Okay, do it. That's how it's done.
I don't like it. It's not like the worst thing in the world.
Well, I can press the button then, but you
Yeah.
can touch the screws.
Show us how it's done.
Man,
It's not awful. It's
just
like,
here, sit it down. I want to press the button.
You want to press
Yeah,
the
I want to press the
button?
button.
I don't.
Okay, touch it. Touch the fun screws. Touch the fun screws.
They're fun.
Look how fun it
Look,
is.
it's on fun time.
It's just like doing this Sharpie thing is just biting me in the right now.
Yeah.
Thomas, you're not touching the thing. Look how much fun it's
Oh,
gonna be.
no.
Look, listen. It's gonna be like that.
That's the sound
Oh.
No, wait, I.
Nick said no, I want
The
to.
fun thing
I
is
don't like
like psychologically,
Uh-huh.
the longer you wait,
The
and
worse it's
don't
gonna
do
be.
it, the worse it is.
5, 4, 3,
Go.
Two.
Go. Just do it. Just do it.
1.
Oh wait,
Oh,
do it again.
No, well, you're not touching them.
Do it again.
Touch. Touch.
So it just shocks you.
I did not like that.
Why would we touch that?
It's not that bad.
It's like, I don't think what you're saying.
No.
It's
Fine.
me.
It says
It was fun. It was very fun for me.
Very
Well,
fun.
Very
I
fun
don't-
for me.
I don't think I'm that shocked.
Boo. You wanna experience some fun?
No one wants to experience that, Thomas, because we're not masochists.
What did you say
Oh.
about this device that it was gonna change our lives?
Alright.
Well,
Life changing?
it changed Nick's life. He
Oh,
had
you also
fun.
said-
Are you sure, Jeremiah?
How much I hurt?
It just hurts a lot.
Babes,
Like,
can I see your arm?
all right, it's kind of like it's like being like pinched or bitten, but then like the moment your arm's off, it's fine. But you should be your own executioner.
Can I see
I
your
want
arm?
Nick to be my executioner.
Nick gets the button.
This is already so much more fun.
Okay, do it.
Have you ever heard of the tale of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? It's not a story the Jedi would have told you.
Unlimited
Jeremiah said I've lost the use of my arm.
How was your experience, Jeremiah?
I didn't like it.
Was it fun?
Was it fun?
Fun
No.
times?
It's the opposite of fun.
It's like my anxiety. Like I turn it off and it's quiet, and then
Yeah.
anxiety.
It's the whizzing sound for me.
Yeah, it's the random.
This circuit I designed gets so hot, it would destroy itself without a fan.
I did notice the fans.
That's the anxiety.
Really? Because I'm not a big fan.
You are not a big fan.
Kill me. Put me out of my misery.
I can help. Content.
Content.
So is that
I'm not
No
content
idea.
with that.
That's a.
Oh, I moved that onto the floor so
That's a
I wouldn't
big-
like.
Is this a capacitor? That's big.
Yeah, that's a 2 kilovolt capacitor.
I see the
Hey,
ferrite.
Jeremiah, capacitor.
I
hardly
know her.
Oh no.
I can't feel my pinky.
Yeah.
Just got-
Yeah.
What is this I see?
That's a transformer.
Okay.
That's just one of those like CCFL like plasma screen TV driver transformers.
Okay.
So it's like center tapped on the primary, and then the secondary is just like a lot of turns.
Did you rip it off a plasma TV?
Because they don't sell them. They're too dangerous.
Yeah, they are not.
They don't sell them to consumers. I wonder why. Oh man.
Bizarre that they don't do that.
Alright, I'm finally back home, and I want to thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. It was a really fun one to make, and I hope to make many more like it in the future. And by the way, everyone who got shocked in that video is totally fine now. Jeremiah did lose feeling in his pinky for a little bit, but it's back. He's fine. I think it was because he sort of took the fun screws right here to where his nerves are. And if you'd like to be sent the fun box, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to show you how to make it. I'm not going to give it to you. It's mine. Look how dangerous. I don't want you to have that. It's mine. If you like this video, suscribir, por favor, or not. I don't care. But if you do, you got some stuff to look forward to. We're going to talk about this PCIe to mini PCIe to M.2 E key thing. It's a circuit board on there. What is it? I don't know. I'm not going to tell you yet. And in a different video that I'm working on, I'll be talking about this big old fan and this HEPA filter. So find out what that's all about. Anywho, that's it for me. Adios.